Good morning, folks. Good morning, folks. Oh, it's like 3 in the morning here. 3:15. I've been up for a little bit. Look, when I'm roused up, I just get up and do one of these videos. This is number 104 of Giving Psychology Away. Don't know which way I'm going to go. Don't know which way this is going to happen. I miss being in a studio. Gave me a little bit more pressure because I had the clock in front of me. I had to make breaks and all that stuff. Once in a while I get a rare phone call. Didn't get that many of them. And it turned out that I get more phone calls after the show was over than during the show. I asked them, why don't you call during the show? I said, we don't want to interrupt you. We want to hear what you have to say. That was very respectful. And a couple of times I got complimented saying, you're better than Savage. And I really took that one to heart. And I realized that what Savage had going for him was a flow of consciousness. And I also realized that when I prepared a show, it flopped. It was horrible. So what I had learned was do a stream of consciousness. I mean, the best show I ever had, I was late. I forgot about it. I got carried away doing laundry. And I'm listening to my voice, as I'm getting close to the studio, because at the time I was in Chandler going downtown Phoenix. It took me a while to get there. And I was probably 5 minutes late. And the guy picked out the best show that I ever did. And I was listening to myself on the radio. I don't like the sound of my voice. Actually, I've gotten used to it lately, but even at that time, it kind of irritated me in that it didn't sound the same when it was played back to me at all like it sounded inside my head. And that is, of course, because of the conductive bone damage I had as a child. I suffered from mastoiditis as a result of measles about age 5 to age 6. It was a full year of infection. They treated me. Captain Wren treated me and pulled the records. And so they were gone. He pulled the medical record because he had cured mastoiditis for the first time. And he wanted to write a paper on it. And it basically was how to treat it with sulfa drugs. And there was a caution there that he had really pumped the sulfa drugs up in me. So there was a risk. There was a compromising risk there. It was really painful. I don't remember the pain very well. I got it blocked off. Word on a stake. You don't want to remember bad stuff. That's just a natural part of human nature is we wall off those bad memories. So don't let it bother you when somebody tells you you're repressing something. You're blocking it out of your consciousness, because sometimes that's the best thing you can do about it. It is a defense mechanism for a reason. You don't want to get angry and murderous with the other son of a bitch for doing whatever they did to you. That's one thing right there. So it's not a bad thing to have defense mechanisms. It's a bad thing to tear down a client's defense mechanisms. I was a budding resident intern going to become a psychologist when some older folks on the listserv chimed in and told me, what do you want to, they were more experienced and wiser than I was. What do you want to break down somebody's defenses for? And I realized it's assaultive. We think that, we've got to make them aware of things, so we're going to go romping over their walls, break their walls down, take their defenses down, and all you're going to do is just up the anxiety. By the way, the number one reason people present for therapy is anxiety, not depression, but anxiety. And it makes a lot of sense when you think about it, except that you and I, with the media, they keep harping on depression. Depression this, depression that. You think they'd want to give you depression is what it is, and which it is for a lot of it, because if you buy our product, it'll alleviate your depression. You'll be a better man. You'll be a better human being. This will fix all your woes. Just take the snake oil right here. Yeah, snakes, right. What I want to talk to you is about the evil that's on this planet right now, in this country especially right now. I was reviewing previous shows and looking, and one of them did not go up. It was one of my best shows, I thought. And of course, it just conveniently failed to load. YouTube didn't want to see it. The title of it was America, the continent, our country, was dedicated to the god of Molech in 1933. You need to understand that this country was dedicated in actually two religious ceremonies. One was on July 3rd, 1933, if I remember correctly, and that was a Monday during the World's Fair in Chicago. And they loved it so much. It went over so well, they repeated it. And by the way, 110 to 150,000 people attended that ceremony. And then they repeated it on Thursday, a few days later, and only 55,000 participated. What you need to understand is the mixing of peoples that are in the Bible and the stories that are in there and the evil that they tell you, and they don't go into detail in it. In the Bible, there's a phrase that stands out in particular. It never even entered my mind. That's what Yahweh, Creator Father God, said in response to this bullshit that the Canaanites were doing. And I guess the Egyptians did it too, and certainly the Babylonians. So this evil's been here for a while. And in case you're wondering, the evil ones have been on the planet longer than my kind. They arrived here about 72,000 years ago. Fallen angels, blown out of the skies, forced to the earth by a captain of a ship named Michael. Michael the Archangel, the Prince of Israel, the defender of the people, Israel. It's another thing. You better start getting used to Israel being a people. A nation is a people. It's not a boundary. It's not a landmass. We equivocate that. Well, equivocate, bouncing back and forth, which I guess is the right word, because we bounce back and forth between identifying it as a people and then identifying it as a landmass with boundaries, and we kind of depersonalize it. We screw it up, in other words. So, this continent, this country was dedicated to the god of Molech that's required child sacrifice. They passed the infant through the fire. And some of the Israelite kings, notice I didn't say Israeli. There's a difference between an Israeli and an Israelite. And you have to make this fine distinction, this fine discrimination in your thinking. And Israeli is a modern son of a bitch, modern bastard. An Israelite is from the old times, from the old people. And the United States of America is a great Israelite nation. Notice, I did not say the great Israelite nation. We are one of several great Israelite nations. Let's see if you can guess who they are. The problem is the Israelites don't know who they are. They don't know where they come from. They don't know what they're from, what they're about. They don't understand, because they don't know their identity, their true identity. They do not recognize the enemy, and they do